Hello, Lizzie here, and today I'm going to show you how to make Ava. And Ava is a download pattern from my website. So Ava is actually a thread catcher, a really simple design using an embroidery hoop and just your scrap fabrics really. A couple of fat quarters will make this, with a nice long strap which doesn't loop onto anything, but actually it goes under the feet of your machine, or you can put it under a mat, anything where it can be held in place. Ready for you to put your scraps in there and your threads when you're stitching. Incredibly useful, and really lovely in some bright fabrics, cheer you up. Now you can box the bottom if you want to. I've decided I quite like it with the pointy bottom, so I'm just going to show you now how to stitch it together basically. So I've got all my pieces prepared. Now I've got 2 strips of 2.5 inch wide, but you could use a piece 4.5 inches wide and just trim it down. And I'm going to go down one long side, across the bottom and up. I'm going to use my overlocker actually, because this project is perfect for that. And it's nice to get it out and dust it off. So just going down the sides. Now I'm not going to trim anything away with the blade. I'm literally doing my 1/4 inch. Just make sure your fabrics meet. I think this is going to be so useful. Just trim my threads. Now there is a way of actually going around the corners of pieces that you've overlocked, but that's for another video. Noisy old things, aren't they? Right, so there's my tube, if you like. Just need to turn it right way around. So I've got a turning tool. You may want to use something else to turn your fabrics through. There are so many different ways of doing this, but this is possibly one of the easiest. So it's just a tube, and then you just pop your end through that tube and it all just feeds through and turns itself right side round. It's a bit like magic really. So let's just take that out. And then while we've got the pokey bit in there, I could use the pointy end, is just to neaten that off and turn it through. Now in the instructions it tells you to top stitch this, but as I'm using my overlocker today, I won't be doing that. I'm not going to bring my machine up to do it, but give that a good press. I'll do that in just a second. The next thing we're going to do, so we've made our strap, and that's the strap that goes under the machine, whatever your machine you're working, because I've got the tiniest little scraps here now from my overlocker, and now I could just literally brush them into my Ava to catch all the bits and pieces. So the next thing you're going to do is get your 2 pieces that you've cut out, and all the instructions are actually on the download. Now for the outer piece, so your outer fabric, isn't this glorious, this fabric, it's so cheerful. Right sides together, we're going to go down one short end and one long end. And again, we'll do it on the overlocker. It doesn't need to be strong, it's just I like using my overlocker every now and again. Just make sure your sides meet. And of course there are different ways of putting this together as well, and you'll probably find a different way to me, and that's great. So with the lining piece, I'm going to use this bright orange. All we need to do is stitch one long side. So just down this side here. So a quick mention about my Gold Club. If you haven't joined already, there's no time like the present. Just pop to my website, find the link that says Gold Members Sign Up here, and then you have access to my Facebook weekly events, which is absolutely amazing. My girls love it. And of course you get the free patterns as well. So if you want more information, there is actually a video on YouTube that you can have a little look at. There we go. And now we're going to put the two pieces together. So one of these needs to be turned the other way around. So we'll turn the lining as I've got it in my hand. Match up your side seams, or the seams that you've just stitched. So let's put right sides together. So we've got a tube with the lining, that's going to be popped inside. And then just put a clip there to hold it. I certainly wouldn't use pins if I can avoid it, because of the overlocker. Now what I want you to do is to find the centre between the seam that you've just stitched and the folded edge that we just folded the fabric round. So I just need you to find the middle of that and do a little clip. I mean, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it's nice to get it as best you can just in the centre. So I've just cut a little V out, don't know if you can see it, just there, which is halfway. Now at that halfway point, I'm going to put my unpressed strap. And like I said, you will press this. So that's going to pop inside between the layers, so between the outer fabric and the lining fabric. And the centre of that is going to go where that notch is. So literally pop it inside and put it in the centre of where the notch is and bring those together. Make sure your fabrics line up, and again I'm just going to put a little clip in there just to hold it. If you're using your sewing machine, you don't have to do a zigzag. It doesn't need to be neatened. It's just quick on the machine, but I would probably stay stitch that strap in place rather than having a clip. So we'll just pop this under the machine. So we're going all the way around. So I'll take my clip out now. That's going to hold it all in place beautifully. Now I've used a bit of a selvage here because I wanted the strap to be as long as I could get it. So hopefully we won't see any of that selvage when we turn through. The measurements I've given you, you might find using a fat quarter. It's a little bit less, so you can know it's only perhaps 21.5, something like that. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Just run that off. There we go. So there we are. So we've got a little tail there, we don't really need it. So that's gone all the way around that top edge, and I've encased the strap. So of course, if you remember, we've got an open edge with the lining. Now, if you're going to box this, I haven't done, I don't want it boxed myself, but obviously you might want to box it. Obviously you're going to need to stitch a little way in here and here to box the lining. So whereas I'm going to just turn through and just overlock the whole thing, you might want to just stitch a little bit and box it. And if you know how to box a bag, that's great, you know what you're doing. If you don't know how to box a bag, look back at one of my videos because I do it all the time. So all we're going to do now is turn through. And again, you'll give this a really good press. Oh, I love the way the overlocker looks, it's so neat. So just poke those corners out. So I love them to be really super pointy, especially because the top is rounded because we're going to use an embroidery hoop. I quite like that sort of yin-yang look of a pointy corner and a round top. So there's our tube, if you like, and there's our little strap there. Now what we want to do is actually finish off this open edge here with our lining. So I'm just bringing my seam that I've stitched together, so I'm just pinching that. So there's the seam there, So I'm just pinching that together because that's where I'm going to stitch from. Just looks so cool. And there we are. Now you could top stitch all the way around the edge here, because, like I say, because I'm using the overlocker, you don't need to really, or you just bring your machine up and do it. So just make sure you get those corners in there. And there's your strap. Excuse me licking my fingers. And then just bring your top edge up. Like I say, you're going to really give this a good press. And then you just need to attach your embroidery hoop. And this is where I always have to really think hard. So I'm just going to slide so you have two halves. You have one half that has a screw bit that tightens up on the actual base unit, and then you have the base unit itself. So just going to bring that up. Now what happens here is that the strap goes to the centre back, and at the moment doesn't matter at the moment because we're just using the base, and I'm just going to then just flip that side over like that. There we go. And I would spend a bit of time to make sure, I don't know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'd like to make sure that my edge is all the same all the way around, but let's just ignore it for the moment. So you see where you've got the screw bit there? That opens up that ring. Now I'm going to put it where my strap comes out and sort of roughly centre it over. Pop it over, and then you can get a screwdriver now, because the one I've got has a sort of screwdriver bit. Anyway, tighten it up, and there we are. That's our Ava made. It needs a good press, as I said, but there's our Ava made. Now you could, like I say, you could have boxed the bottom of this, or if you wanted to, you could actually put a circular base in there to match the top. That's entirely up to you. I've given you the basic idea of how to do it, and I think it's absolutely fabulous. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make loads of these. I hope you are too.